Hello everyone, it's your boy. Time to talk about some music that, or rather, 10 albums I love, 10 of my favorite albums, 10 really good albums, and I'll give you a song to listen from each one, so that you don't have to listen to the full thing. It's more of a sampling thing. Alright, let's just start from the bottom here and go up to my favorite. That seems more reasonable. First, one of my favorite albums, obviously if it's on this list, Drugs by Aphex Twin. Aphex Twin has always, up until recently, managed to be an artist that I have no clue how to approach. He is a strange man when it comes to music production. Every album sounds different, and every album's good. There's not a bad Aphex Twin release. Debatably Selected Ambient Works Volume 2, but not for me, but for some people. It's too long of an album. I don't care how long an album is. Let's 4 hours. I'm pretty sure Prurient has a 4-hour long album, but who's gonna listen to Prurient anyways? I do like how overpowering Drugs is. It feels like you're just getting hit with a wall of sound on some of these, and other songs take it a little slower. This album was released pretty around the middle of his career, I would say. Yeah, it's about the middle. Yeah. And it still holds up today, being released, I don't know, 2001? It's 2019, 18 years later. The song I'll give you to listen off this is Mount St. Michael's Mount. It's about halfway through the album, a little under. It's overpowering, it's strong, it's hard-hitting, very good. Next is an EP, not an album, but I'll still put it here because it's one of my favorites. It is the Nervous Breakdown EP by Black Flag. Now this album /EP/ whatever is very short, only about 5 minutes, but these 5 minutes of sound are angry, amazing, brutal, and like the last album, overpowering. Since a good theme here. They just hit. I did that joke already. I think it was released in the late 70s, early 80s, and still holds up. It has not aged a day. Well, I mean, obviously it's aged a little bit because, production, whatever, I don't know. But the next album that we're going into is even older, and before we go to this one, I will say, if you can't listen to a 5-minute album, you're a lost cause. Getting into music is not a difficult thing, and if you think it is, or if you think, oh, I don't have enough time to listen to music, dumb, too busy, you are on the edge of autism. You are on the spectrum. Alright, enough of that tangent. Let's go to the next album from 1969's Ruth White, Flowers of Evil. Flowers of Evil is extremely experimental for its time. Project that it's really difficult to describe. I'm not a very good describer anyways, but for those who don't know, it is based off a poem by the same name, Flowers of Evil, by Charles Baudelaire, I think. I don't know, I probably butchered that. It is a collection of songs featuring what is seemingly either A, based off of, or B, direct quotes from the poem, which I think is a story poem type deal. I've never actually read it, but you don't need to anyways to get why it sounds so good. When Ruth White was producing this, she used primarily a Moog synthesizer. And basically everything you hear is from that Moog, and it creates a mood, don't want to rhyme, but have to, that's incredibly claustrophobic. It feels like you're trapped with the album, not it's trapped with you. That's very interesting. It's not something you see very much with music. I think it's worth mentioning. It's one of my favorites. The track I'll give you to listen to is called Spleen. It was featured on the Space Funeral soundtrack. Very good game, by the way. I would check it out if you are capable of playing it, but that's besides the point. Flowers of Evil, Spleen, go check it out. Probably the most important thing you're going to hear here. Next, The Downward Spiral by 9 Inch Nails. Now, 9 Inch Nails, I am wearing a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt right now as I'm recording this audio. not an easy band to describe. It's like not a band, it's a guy. But it's a pretty easy thing to describe, actually, the more I think about it. Just take really angsty industrial music, turn it up just a little bit, but take the industrial down. It's not really industrial, it's just kind of Nine Inch Nails. It's not hard to listen to, because most industrial music is hard to listen to. But considering Nine Inch Nails industrial is just like, I don't know, considering the basic white girl entry to genre band, that thing, it's just kind of dumb. Just call it what it is. Who cares? If you want to listen to this thing, I would recommend listening to it in full. But if you are on the spectrum and cannot listen to a full album because your attention span is of a goldfish, check out the song Reptile, and specifically the Liar Reptile demo on the deluxe edition. It's very good. I like the demo better. Next, In Rainbows by Radiohead. In Rainbows is a very lush, very pretty, very colorful album. I guess it fits because of the name. It never lets up. It is 10 tracks even. Each track is a little different than the last and is mostly acoustic. There's not really anything here that's too non-acoustic, I guess. There's not really a use of any incredible instrument, you know what I mean? But I don't know how to describe it. It sounds very human, while the counterpart to this album, not really counterpart, but like notable Radiohead album that came a little before it, Kid A, is the polar opposite. While Kid A uses tons and tons and tons of synths and really crunch electronics, In Rainbows uses a little bit of guitar, a little bit of piano, just little acoustic things. I think the track you need to hear off this, like I said before, if you have the attention span of a goldfish, can't sit through an whole album. I can't listen to a whole album. I never have time to listen to music. Okay. I would recommend you listen to Nude to get a taste for what the album has for you. Next is Blank Banshee Zero. This is an album that is widely considered the best vaporwave, vapor trap album. I'm pretty sure. I don't know, I'm not making up everybody's opinions, but I know it's my favorite vapor trap, vaporwave album. It's really sample heavy. It features a lot of video game references for all my epic gamers out there. Very lightweight album. It feels like air when you're listening to it, so it must be produced via airwaves. This joke sucks. Just listen to the song Dreamcast if you don't want to listen to the full album because you suck. Next, In Casino Out's Napoleon Solo. Or not Napoleon Solo, but at the drive-ins, In Casino Out. And the song I want you to listen to is Napoleon Solo. Big error. Reading from this notepad document right now. Excuse that. In Casino Out, before At the Drive-In went commercial and boring. 2 albums down. They still had that post-punk aggressiveness without having that squeaky clean, obnoxious vocal delivery. This sounds more like the Mars Volta. Love the Mars Volta. That'll be on this list. And this album is the last one that you really get that keeps that zany, wild, crazy vocal delivery. So if you want to keep that, then listen to this album. Napoleon Solo, song I want you to listen to. It's very, I think it's 5 minutes, pretty short. The album's pretty short, so I would recommend you listen to the full thing. Alright, next up, Gio Gotti, Boards of Canada. We're in the top 3 now. This album is incredible. It is creepy, like Flowers of Evil. It's scary, like Flowers of Evil. So these two things kind of go hand in hand. It's also IDM, which Flowers of Evil is very similar to with its experimentality. Gio Gotti was released kind of just out of the blue. There wasn't really a build up to it. I know there's a listening party for it in a few areas, but that's about it. It was released, I think, in the 2000 or 2002. I think it was 2002. It features a lot of creepy samples, not really it's like trying to throw you off a lot of the time with number stations and children talking and old documentaries, reverse speech, and the whole album can be verse for a whole different experience. I think it's a very good album. The song I recommend you listen to is Alpha and Omega, but this album really does well when you listen to it all together because it keeps you on edge. Next, my second favorite album of all time, Mediocre Generica, I Left It a Crack. Now, this is an album that is the most unlistenable of all of these. It is the vocal delivery, I'm aware, sucks. The vocalist is literally on heroin, or was on heroin, doing hard H, doing that hard rock, and you can really hear it when you listen to it because he's just such a nutty dude. But that doesn't make the band bad. That just makes it a little more difficult to listen to. But it's very good. It's very good punk music. I would severely recommend this one, but the next one's more important, so I'll hold that. The track I want you to listen to the most is Born to Die. You've probably already heard it. If you haven't, then you're kind of a crackhead, like the vocalist. Next is my favorite album of all time, the Mars Volta's Francis the Mute. And this is easily the most incredible album I've ever heard. It is massive. It is huge. It is so aggressive. It's not metal. It's not punk. When I say aggressive, I mean it just never lets up. It always keeps you going and wants you to listen and listen and listen. And the heavier and more hard the music goes, usually the larger it gets too. There's these moments where it feels like the album is just, or the song is just exploded and is massive and uncontrollable. And when the guitarist Omar said he wanted to create something that was like an untamable colossus, I'm pretty sure he said something along those lines in an interview. He kind of hit the nail here. This album is it's just uncontrollable. It goes huge. It doesn't let up. It's really hard to describe. You could tell by the way I'm talking, but I recommend you listen to this whole thing because it doesn't matter what song you listen to, it's going to be long anyways, but the album itself isn't long. But like I said, I'll list a track from it that is notable, but listen to the full thing. The final track, Cassandra Gemini, is a shocking 32 minutes long, but none of it's boring. The album just keeps you going, and I think Cassandra Gemini is the best example of how being smart with your song lengths goes a long way. What I mean by that is, don't think when you're making music, this to artists that want to listen to you, don't try to condense your songs for radio play. Let's be honest here, if you're making indie music, you're not going to get anywhere anyways. Don't condense it. Metal music does this a lot, where they push their songs to 6 minutes, to 4 minutes, to fit the cookie cutter vibe that metal has. Same with pop music, same with rap, same with hip hop. But progressive rock is the last known genre that keeps its song lengths alive, and just I love that. This album has a 32-minute song to finish it off, and it's not boring. Thank you so much for watching. Please check these albums out. They'll be in the description. Maybe a song from each, or maybe an album, the full album if I can find it on YouTube. Leave what you thought in the comments. Thank you for watching. Later.